Welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday show. I'm Lucy McMonagle. I am the host, and I am on a movement to create this world a better place. If you are listening to this, please make sure that you share this episode with your friends, your family, and your tribe, because together as a collaborative, we can all do our part to create conscious wealth, create conscious communities, and to make this world a better place. Stay tuned for our next featured guest. Hey, welcome to another edition of the Wealthy Wednesday show. This is your host, Lucy McMonagle, and today I'm so incredibly excited. We have Donna Blevins, and she has a PhD, and she is transparent and openly shares how you can shift your mindset in an instant. Now, you know, a lot of individuals say that you can shift your mindset, but she really, truly has these techniques down pat because Donna is a high profile, successful entrepreneur who could have lost everything in one life shattering moment. And instead, she found the keys to controlling her mind and her body. And instantly, she geared up and tested the limits of the mind shifting exercises and proved that they work. So Donna's going to tell you all about that. So make sure you grab a pen, grab a paper, and let's give Donna a warm welcome. Welcome to the show, Donna.
Oh, Lucy, thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here and honored.
I'm so honored that you are here. Zig Ziglar said this fabulous quote back when he introduced you that, you know, people can look up to you professionally and physically because you are an amazing Amazon, in my opinion. That's probably not what other people call you, but you're quite tall. Did I get that right about Zig Ziglar and how he introduced you at that one time?
Yes, it was really wonderful because when he came to me and said, let me have your introduction, I said, well, Zig, I just don't have it written. And so we sat down and talked about it, and he crafted the most wonderful introduction and ended up with, Donna Blevins is someone we can all look up to, both professionally and physically. And I said, can I use that? And he said, you certainly can. So I love that. When he said that, because I am 6 feet 5 inches tall.
Ah, that's just so amazing. And plus, you also had a life-shattering moment in your life where you came up with the mindset or mind shift on demand. Can you tell us a little bit on what is the mind shift on demand and how did it really change your life?
And on Halloween of 2013, I was under the impression the draft was finished for the book, and I stood up from the computer, and I'm looking at the screen. And you know, when you're, have you ever had doubts about whether or not what you're doing is good enough? Have you ever?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And I'm looking at
absolutely.
the screen, and I'm going, I want something that will prove my mind shift exercises work. And I put my hands on my hips and I said, I want proof now. And I stomped my foot, and the universe said, okay, fine. And a lightning struck in my head, and I had a massive center left brain stroke, which completely muted me except for 2 words. I could say Donna, and I could say crap.
Wow.
And I was airlifted from our local hospital to the University of Florida Teaching Hospital. And all along the way, the healthcare team, one after the other, is saying she will never be able to speak again fluidly. It'll be 8 to 9 months before she can talk. And I chose to shift away from buying into that disease. I had this internal remote control, and just literally, I have one in my hand, and I would go, cancel, delete. And I chose to detach and observe. And frankly, I had a blast. It was absolutely fun. I decided I would rather have fun than feel sorry for myself. And the joy of it is that by shifting away from it rather than engaging in it and fueling what's happening with you and going through some other processes of detaching and observing, I was able to speak in 3 days.
Wow. That just almost takes my breath away. And to really understand, because I was in the healthcare for 20 years, and when people have that kind of a condition, 3 days is beyond miraculous miracles.
It's
And
I'm so blessed. I really am blessed. And since you're in the healthcare, and I didn't mean to step on your talk forgive me for that. But what I want to
Mhm.
tell you is that then you'll understand that when you have a stroke, you can have an area in your brain that's black on an MRI because that's dead
Mhm.
tissue.
Yes.
The dead tissue was the size of a golf ball, and that's about the size of the area that is your speaking area. Today, I had a follow-up of an MRI. I had it a few months ago, exactly the same size black golf ball. So what had happened, I've been told, is that I learned how to rewire my neural pathways because the neuroplasticity of the brain, I'm so glad I got that out, I was able to retrain my brain how to actually rewire because we're using so little of our brain, only 5 to 10%. And I was able to somehow or the other, by the way I thought, I was able to find different pathways to get around the damaged part.
Wow. And you teach how individuals can also do a mind shift on demand. Can you explain a little bit about this? And you have this incredible book, so if they want to know more about it, you can also specify where they can get the book.
Thank you. I would love for people to go grab a 4-minute audio on my site, mindshiftondemand.com, because I have decided that what they needed was my signature mind shift exercise, the one that I did for over 100 times in 48 hours. And let me step you through it really fast because it's 7 steps, super, super fast. When you're dealing with something, is that okay? Let me step through it.
Oh yes, please, please. This is all about teaching the audience and giving them some of the step throughs and things that will open up their mind so that they can have a shift.
That's fabulous. What you want to do is, in order to test this mind shift exercise, anyone that's listening to me, what I want you to do is know that when you hear my voice, I am speaking directly to you and with you. I'd like for you to know that I'm creating a safe place for you right now that is blame-free, guilt-free, judgment-free, and whine-free. All you need to do is leave the whining at the door. And I want you to bring up something that's traumatic, something that you would, if you're doing a pain scale, 0 is nothing, no pain, 10 is awful, I want you to bring up something that's traumatic because we want to see how you can shift away from that. Bring it up in a safe place. It's only going to be a look at rather than a re-experience. So bring it up to mind, and when you do, I want you to rate where you are and write that down. Rate where you are on that pain scale, the pain scale of how terrible it is. And now, before we begin, I want you to, in the first step, I want you to forgive yourself for where you are. Forgive yourself, regardless of what it is that's causing you stress. Just forgive yourself for being there. That self-forgiveness is empowering. It takes so much of the stress out of our lives. The second step is I want you to ask it, whatever it is, to show itself. You can close your eyes, and if you're driving, please don't do this or close your eyes, but if you can, pull over and do it. If you're in a safe place, go ahead and close your eyes and ask it to show itself. That means I want you to ask it to take a 3-dimensional being, whether it be a person, a building, a situation, a cloud, a geographic figure, something that is finite. When it shows itself in your mind's eye, what you've done is you put boundaries around it. It is no longer out there and all around you. It is now finite. You can name it. If you're having difficulty coming up with a 3-dimensional form, just name it. Give it a name. And then look at that word in your mind's eye. The next step is I want you to step back from that one step in your mind's eye and just notice it. You are disconnecting from fueling it. You are no longer feeding it and fueling it. You are detached and you are observing. And now say, isn't that interesting? And when you say that, really get into that feeling of it. Isn't that interesting? And there it goes. It's moving away. It's getting smaller. It's fading. It's astonishing how fast it will move. Then what I want you to do is open your eyes, look up and to your right. Pivot your entire body 45 degrees to the right. Continue looking up and ask, where would I rather be? No need for you to consciously answer because what you're doing is you're giving your subconscious a task. You're giving your subconscious a question to answer in a positive way. And in doing that, it is a code modifier, in essence, for the software that is in our subconscious. Now, what I want you to do is right where you are now, a number scale, and see where you've shifted. I've had people go from an 8 to a 3 in 3 minutes. I've had people go from a 10 to a 0. I've had some people say they're still at that number, and that's okay. If you're still there, that means that there's something else underlying that's causing you stress. It's a case of just peeling back the onion layers. And many people have come to me 2 or 3 weeks later and said, Donna, this no longer works. And I said, okay, when did you do it? They would give me the date. I'd say, fine, how many times have you done it? And they said, well, only that one time. And my question is, how many times do you take a shower?
I love it.
It is important to be continual and repetitive. If you do this type of process, only for 10 minutes, I call it the 10-minute-a-day Mind Shift Master Plan, because all you need to do is to condition yourself to think differently. It's not a case of, it's wonderful if you had an hour every day you could meditate, but I bet you are worth 10 minutes a day. And put it on a clock. Set your alarm. Do it. When you do it the same time each day, it will help anchor the habit faster. And just do that. And after 40 days, you will find that it becomes very natural for you to think differently, because you need to listen to the words that come out of your mouth, because the words we choose set ourselves up for either success or failure.
That's true. Absolutely. The words are definitely successful or failure based, and that's so important. So you have a couple of other techniques that you also talk about in your book and in this mindset shifting. Can you tell us a little bit about the egg and what is the egg? What's the egg?
And I love the fact that most everyone I've shared many of these exercises with, they love the, isn't that interesting? And they
I
love
love
the
that.
egg. And people have told me that if they use those continually, they don't need anything else. Maybe that's the case. I love variety. But the egg is very simple. You know, we have our largest organ in our body is our skin.
Mm-hmm.
But does our energy of our body stop with our skin?
Oh gosh, no.
No, the energy is on the outside area. It goes out. Depends on how much energy we have, how we're feeling. When we tend to have any sort of depression, or we might have less space, but when we're energized, it's bigger. If you even if you don't hear someone coming up behind you, if they get close to you, you know they're there because their energy field has touched your energy field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it lets you to know that we can absorb other people's energy. Have you ever been around someone who's negative and you felt worse after
Oh,
being around them?
yes. Yes, I have.
Yeah, and I actually call that energetic flu, because we catch that from people all the time. So you need to protect your energy field. And I want you to imagine, I want you to install an egg around it. I'm not talking about an egg the shape of an egg that would come out of a chicken. I'm talking about putting an egg, a flexible membrane around your energy field. And I would like for it to be mirrored so it reflects only negative, not back to where the negative started. If you do that, you're going to create bad karma. You're only going to reflect it back to the universe, and where it becomes neutralized.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows all the positive to come through it and to you. It is an astonishing process, because right now, just talking about that, if you choose to install an egg right now, you have it.
Yes.
But you need to check in with it on a daily basis. Is a good idea. It's kind of like, drinking water yourself, and it only takes 30 seconds. Just say, okay, you just take a moment, just look about inside. Are there some places where my egg is cracked? Because when we're upset, it's kind of like trying to push trying to open something that has aluminum wrap, the plastic wrap, the one that's so hard to get open now.
Yes.
But you hit it. You hit it really hard with being upset, and that'll crack your egg. So just know that you can fix it by seeing it being so. When I first started doing this more than 35 years ago, I would say, okay, how do I do this? I was having trouble fixing the crack. And I thought, well, okay, go get some shiny duct tape and then just put it on the outside of it in your mind's eye. Wow, that worked. So it is flexible. It moves with you. It's above you and below you. It's around you. Think of it like a flexible wetsuit. Wet to me didn't sound as comfortable. Whatever you want to vision it as being, just know that it's movable and goes with you. It's interesting because when people start putting it on, I say, okay, now push it out like that and feel it. And they're going, oh, I do feel that. It's there. But it can be there, and it is a wonderful way to, just be sure to shore up your egg before you go into a hospital or in a shopping center. When I used to go into a mall, I couldn't shop. I couldn't go into a mall. I would get so sick. I'd be fine before I got there. I got there and my stomach hurt, my head hurt, and I was not a shopper until I was introduced to the concept of the egg. Oh my, I should have talked to her about that. Now I can shop because I can put on the egg. And my husband is a left brain. He doesn't believe that a lot of things will work, but let me tell you what, he puts on the egg and it works for him.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. And the egg technique, I have not heard of utilizing silver duct tape on the outside of the egg during the cracks. That I'm doing that right now. I'm like, I'm duct taking all my little cracks and stuff from well, I don't know. I don't even care where they came from.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and now it's like, and then I'm like, isn't that interesting? And I'm looking up at my egg. So, and those two techniques work instantaneously, and the way that they work is so fabulous. So a lot of individuals, they might be thinking, well, the mind shift on demand. It sounds pretty interesting, but how does that work differently from, let's say, hypnotism or NLP or any of the other different modalities that are out there?
I believe that the way that Mind Shift on Demand evolved was because I've been a life student. I've been curious about everything. I was one of the first people to ever take the neuro-linguistic programming training in the 80s. And I was very interested in it. And I went to a week-long seminar in Orlando, Florida. And I just started integrating it because nothing is ever created nor destroyed, but we are filters. And everything that I have experienced are filtering through who I am and what I am, and that's how they came out the way they are. And there's certainly some semblance of self-hypnosis, absolutely. But the thing of it is that I believe that we needed to do it quicker because also being a professional poker player that we hadn't talked about and working with poker clients, they wanted something that would work quickly because they said, excuse me, please, I'm in a hand, I'm upset, I'm on what they call poker tilt. It's not that I can get up and excuse me, please, I'll go meditate for half an hour. But they needed to be able to do something quickly. And it was my coaching clients in executives and management area and in sales, they wanted something that would work quickly because if they're getting ready to go into, let's say, a sales negotiation and they're anxious, how are they going to get rid of that anxiety? They needed something that would work quickly. And that's what I was tasked with, to figure out how to do it quickly. And my clients have told me that the mind shift exercises that I've created are yoga and meditation on steroids.
Well, yeah, definitely. And with the 7 steps, it's so easy to just do that for a few minutes before you go into a meeting, before you actually, maybe you're anxious about driving. Or maybe you're anxious about something coming up, or maybe you're single and you don't want to be single, or there's endless possibilities that I can think about that I'm looking at. Okay, how many friends can I help with this book and stuff? This might be a very big Christmas present or a very New Year's presents or Valentine's Day. That'd be a good book to give to Valentine's people.
Oh, thank you so much, because a dear woman of mine, a friend of mine who actually was uh, helped to launch World Poker Tour. She also is in the spiritual community, and she's a wonderful PR person, and she
Mhm.
lives very near Paradise, California, at
Oh,
Burned. And when I thought of her, would have been just as that was happening. I thought, how can I, because I'm 3,000 miles from her, I said, what can I do? I didn't pick up the phone. I thought, well, I can't well with a phone call, but I thought, well, let me think about this. Let me install an egg around her home. I talked with her 2 weeks later, and I said, how are you? And she said, well, she said to me, I installed an egg around my home. And I said, well, I did too. And the fire stopped 2 houses away from her home.
wow, amazing.
So,
Yes,
and interesting, we don't really need to believe it's going to work.
that's true.
All we need to do is do the work.
Exactly, exactly. And I've never thought of using the egg around my house. I've always used other techniques. So now I have an egg around my house and my property.
And
So,
by the way, I install the egg around the car when I drive,
yeah,
and
yes.
it has been a surprisingly successful install. And uh, anyway, just give it a try.
Yeah,
It's fun, it's playful, and when you can do something that is helpful that is also playful, that's a bonus.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I can attest that the egg around the car has saved me numerous times. And if you tweak it just right, you actually clear the way for people not to be in your way when you're going from point A to point B. As long as you do it with love and light and harm to none, and make sure you don't create any bad juju's or bad karma or anything. But that definitely works, and sometimes using these techniques will really help. So you also have this thing that's like toss the trash. Can you tell us a little bit about tossing the trash, and I want to talk more about that little remote control you have too before we end.
Okay. Well, toss the trash has been a tool that I have used. I can tell you it was since 1983, because I had opened a real estate brokerage, my own real estate brokerage,
Oh,
in Bonita Springs, Florida, which is the Gulf Coast of Florida on the way down south. And I was under an extreme amount of anxiety. I was having financial difficulties, and I would wake up in the night thinking about all these things. I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and I'd start going over things I had absolutely no control over. And I actually went to a week-long seminar on real estate exchanging, and it was very tedious. And on the third day, the leader walked us through a meditation, and he said, go find a room in the second floor of your home, whatever this home is. And I walked into this room, and there was nothing there. It was completely clear, and at the far end of the room was this window, and there was nothing standing on the floor, but to the right of the window there was a roll of black garbage bags. And I went over there and I thought, why am I here? And during this meditation, I simply went over and I thought, oh, the garbage bag. I said, what belongs in there? And I thought, my thoughts. So I said, okay, just take all these thoughts that you have that are just sapping the energy you're fretting over, they have no control over that, put them in the garbage bag, tie the garbage bag out and toss it out the window. And when I did, it completely vaporized. completely neutralized. And I started literally, anytime I'd start worrying about something, that's okay. Just toss the trash. And I could take, and now, today, if something comes up, because I rarely worry about anything, and when it comes up, I simply go, toss the trash. I can do it with a flip of a hand. And when you do something like that, it becomes natural.
Yes.
It becomes, but it's extraordinarily effective. But you can also go through a process of saying, what would that room be for me? And you can, it's a mini meditation where you can think, what I want my room to be. But you can share the trash room, by the way. You can go ahead and use that, because it's a profound way to get that mind trash out of your head.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we've talked about so many techniques, and I'm so glad I told the individuals to grab a pen and grab a paper, because I was really, really serious. And in the beginning, you were talking about when you were in the ambulance and they were, blah, 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 saying that stuff that you didn't want to believe. You said you had a remote control and you were pushing cancel delete. Can you tell us a little bit about this? Because I use an eject button on my forehead for cancel, delete, clear. But I like the remote control better.
Oh, I love that. Well, we all have remote controls. We have them every place. How many in the living room? There's 4 remote controls.
Wow.
And I'm in the middle of this, and I said, how can I want those words to get out of my head. And I thought, okay, just envision a remote control. And I did, and I said, what does this remote control look like? And I said, I want it to be simple, not one that has all of these buttons.
Yeah, no, that has a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I said, I wanted it to have cancel, delete, and thank you very much. I will install a clear. Yes. Thank you. I just did that. Install the clear button. Thank you for that. But that's, fast forward I've done too, and rewind I've also done, but I still like the cancel, delete, and clear.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. So Donna, can you tell us a little bit about your book? How can people get a hold of your book? And then tell us about that 4-minute exercise that you have on your website, because we're going to be wrapping it up real shortly.
Sure. The book site is mindshiftondemand.com, and there's a 4-minute audio, and it's of my signature mind shift exercise. Isn't that interesting? I just shared with you, so it's something that you can take with you. And by the way, on that, it was I got the recording, and I had clipped out the rate where you are before and after. So just remember to rate where you are before and after. That's not on the audio. But the book is, just click through from there. Be sure to opt in for that, because I'm going to be doing some courses because people say, I want to understand more of it. I want to go through the process. And so I'm doing a course called Retrain Your Brain. It's the Mind Shift On Demand companion course, because it's about how to take shifting negative thoughts into positive patterns. Ooh, I like that. Write that down. Shifting positive thoughts into positive patterns, because we have to create those positive habits. And there you can click through. It'll take you to Amazon. It's in print and it's in Kindle. And the book was published just over a year ago, and without doing a tremendous amount of promotion when it launched to be able to get to that #1 in Amazon. All I did was one tweet. It's not that I have a huge Twitter following. That's all I did. I had stuff to do, take care of my mother, who's now 92. Thank God she's still with us. And the book went to #1 hot new releases in sports psychology that following weekend for 3 solid days. And usually that #1 changes every hour with Amazon.
Yes,
and over the last year, the Kindle has been in the top 100 in sports psychology. So it has to do with how you can, in sports, you have to make decisions quickly. Yes. And you need to change and shift the way you're thinking. And that's why I had put it in there, but we can use the concept in everything that we do.
Wow. So it's, the website is mindshiftondemand.com. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And individuals can get that 4-minute audio. They just have to remember to put right now, right here. That's clipped out. And then they can also get the book on Amazon so that they can go through the entire process and truly have a huge shift that I truly believe that anybody who gets this book is going to be able to shift their entire life. And when your life is shifted for more positive things, your family life shifts, your children shift, your friends shift in more positive things, in my opinion. Would you agree with that, Donna?
Absolutely, Lucy, because I believe that when we think differently, only 6 degrees, we can dramatically shift the entire environment on the globe.
Absolutely. So, Donna, thank you for being a guest on the Wealthy Wednesday show. This has been so exciting, and I'm so honored that you took the time so that you can inform our audience on this incredible, simple, easy, quick mind shift. And individuals can do it instantaneously. I love that. So, thank you.
Thank you, and I would like to leave one thought, and that is your body is the vehicle, your mind is the driver.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Absolutely love that. So, thank you for being on the Wealthy Wednesday show. And I want to thank my audience. Thank you for listening to the Wealthy Wednesday show. We're coming up on 4 years of providing you with top tips, strategies, and today, mind shifts on demand. So, until next time, abundant blessings. Thank you for listening to another edition of the Wealthy Wednesday show. I'm your host, Lucy McMonagle, and I'd really appreciate it if you would share this with your friends, your family, your tribe, and let other people know that the Wealthy Wednesday show is creating a movement to make this world a better place, and we rely on you to get the word out so that we can create mass influence. So until next time, abundant blessings.